Cloud9 and 100 Thieves are headed in completely different directions. One is having conversations like this.
We play my way. So when we lose, it's my way.
And the other is winning trophies.
Your winners of Valorant at the Esports World Cup, 100 Thieves!
And so I wanted to check in on their communication during matches to try and understand what has led to such different results. So to start, I wanted to look at a mid-round situation between Cloud9 and G2 to try and understand how they are switching tactics on the fly and adapting to what the other team is doing.
Post Oxy up on an angle.
Let's listen in. Cloud9 trying to try and hit this A side through mid.
Can you orb up and we walk mid?
Yeah, orb up.
And you guys can, we're gonna work mid, you guys can keep working.
So when we hop on board with the communication, we can see that Cloud9 is in sort of a fairly passive default, controlling most of the map with 2 players in middle, a Viper working elbow, and then a Jet with an attack operator supported by Sova working on A site. And we can see that Oxy actually gets great success early on by finding a pick on the Astra, and this pick should allow Cloud9 to now manipulate the map into what should be a pretty favorable outcome based on their numbers advantage.
Astra dead.
2, 1.
I'm gonna come back to B. We killed one. I killed Astra.
I think that this plan was initially supposed to be control, elbow, work up middle, push these guys back over here, and then end A by pushing and sort of crunching into this op line. Now that Oxy has decided to leave A and they have completely given up A control, they are now going to find themselves in a situation where they're sort of in full transition about what the actual plan of the round is, and that's going to require pretty good communication to navigate.
I'm gonna come back to B. We killed one. I killed Astra.
It's fine, it's fine. I'm waiting.
Want to just insert yourself
They're
there?
gonna leave this op A, guys.
Yeah, the op is
B.
Yeah, stay B main, stay B main.
I'm holding double door, right, Jordan?
Yeah, we're gonna look to pump.
Okay, so there's a couple things that I really want to highlight there. So they did see that there was an operator A, and so the plan to maybe pivot B is not that bad. However, there's a couple of other things that are happening right now that I think are really important to point out. And the first is going to center around Vic. So far, Vic has said 3 or 4 different things during this early stages of the round, and almost all of them have been questions. Now, questions are not inherently a bad thing. If there is a piece of information that you really need to know to be able to make a decision, it's fine to ask your teammate, how long until a recon dart comes up, or how many smokes do you have, or something like that. But if everything that you're doing is just asking questions to your teammate, especially if you're asking questions to your IGL, it can really kind of like add a huge amount of mental load to what is already being thought about and focused on for players. And so Vic is asking, do you want to insert yourself? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? Are you holding top middle? And in reality, all he really needs to do is just kind of like do his job, and probably Zelsis will tell him what he wants to do. And while he's waiting for Zelsis to do that, he can, either say nothing, or he can give kind of basic comms like, I'm holding double doors for you. And I believe he even does say, I'm holding double doors for you. So if he makes that comm, Zelsis knows that he should be able to just focus here because his back is being watched by the harbor.
Jack just
He saw me. He saw me leave B. Alright.
That's fine.
Okay, so there was another moment there where the Sova drones out here, and it tags and sees Oxy, and the drone was called out by Fireball Ops, who's playing the Viper, and Oxy gets tagged by the drone and sort of runs back to middle. And then Oxy says, they saw me leaving B or A. Now, obviously, misspeaking does happen, but it is a little bit confusing in this context because he was A, so they did kind of see him leaving A, and now he's being seen leaving B. So the fact that he misspeaks in this way is kind of unfortunate because it is a little bit ambiguous about what he's trying to communicate here.
That's fine. This is good. This is good.
Are you holding
I'm gonna.
No. All right, we're gonna look to pump.
Okay, and then I just have to ask, like, why is Vic asking, are you holding window? Just look at your minimap. I know that Vic is focused on his crosshair, but just take a quick little glance. Is Zelsis holding window? No, he's tucked behind this box. Instead of adding extra layers to the communication and requiring your IGL, who's focusing on a plan and focusing on his crosshair, to answer whether he's holding angle, all you have to do is just glance at your minimap and you'll have the information.
All right, we're gonna look to pump A and we're gonna go back to B, okay?
Okay, so at this point, Zelsis gives the plan for the rest of the round, which is that they're going to look to pump A and go back to B. So what he means by that is they're going to try and pump fake like they're hitting A. So that's going to require them to probably invest the recon dart maybe, and then some pieces of utility, maybe a harbor wall like this or something like that, just to try and sell that they're actually going A in hopes that either these players walk out tunnel directly into Zelsis' crosshair or that they're running through spawn to try and beat the rotation, and that's going to free up the B side of the map to be very weak. So the plan makes relative sense, especially considering that they know that the operator is probably on the A side of the map. And so I think that this is a pretty clear statement of what should happen next, and we will see what happens now.
Okay, I'm gonna come towards B.
Viper. I want it. And door.
So earlier on, we heard Vic say that he had Zelsis' double door. Now, he had Zelsis' double door if somebody just walks out like this, but he doesn't actually have his double door because he's not holding this angle. He's tucked right here. He's playing very, very safe. And so somebody can technically just walk out and shoot into this angle if the KO were to back up like he did a little bit. So in this sense, Vic's comm was not really correct. He was holding his back, but he wasn't really doing it in a super safe way for Zelsis. So ultimately, Zelsis gets backstabbed by the Neon, and now the round is in real chaos. So let's hear how they react.
Viper. I want it. And door. Two. Who was B? It was Viper Sova.
Yeah, Viper Sova.
He wall up.
Yeah, well, I'm coming to you, Vic. Can you orb up?
Shit, there are two guys.
No.
One B.
Nice, Vic.
He was
Okay, so Zelsis is trying to direct traffic, give information. He saw Viper Sova at B. Jack is falling out of A, and he asked for the wall up for some reason. I don't know if he's thinking that it's going to hold A players here, but this call is actually fairly problematic because it's going to invest the Viper gas that could be used to potentially help the mid player since there is a Viper orb here. So I don't totally understand why he's asking for the wall, and I think it's going to cause some problems here because now Vic is going to be asking for the Viper orb to protect his back as he throws a harbor wall to try and sort of slip through and get to B site. But there is no Viper orb because either the wall is up or, you know, it's too many different commands for the Viper to have to sort of register while he's also trying to take a fight on B.
backside, guys.
I'm holding.
Behind you, mid.
I'm coming back.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, we have to get bomb.
They're 1-1.
Okay, so they are able to trade this out. It's a good trade by the Sova. He wins a pretty difficult 1v1. Oxy says that he's coming back to help him, which I think is a good idea. There's also a decent comm in there that says they're probably 1-1 or that they are 1-1 since they know that the operator was towards A and they have seen the Sova on B.
Yeah, can you put your orb up? Yeah, orb.
Yeah, orbing.
They might
One
both
A,
be
one
fighting
orb,
you guys mid.
Mid or something. Can you orb up?
Go
Orb up,
yeah,
orb up.
orbing now.
Orb's not up for long.
Could be Nez, could be...
Okay, that's good comms as well. Fireball Ops lets them know that there isn't very much gas left, and so the orb is not going to be up for long, so they should be aware that this angle will be open very, very shortly. Now, you can also hear that other players are sort of giving comms about where players could be. Zelsa says they could be Nest. We don't really know where the Sov is. We haven't seen the operator for, you know, about 40 seconds, so he could honestly be anywhere at this point.
Or elbow, I mean.
Here, I have ult. If we can get side, I'm small.
Elbow, guys.
Elbow.
Spike down mid. One enemy remaining. 10 seconds left.
Close.
Okay, and they do end up somehow clutching out this round. I mean, really, it was the numbers advantage that helped them. The communication in that round was very, very messy, and now I want to contrast that with how 100 Thieves handles a somewhat similar situation. So we pick up the communication here after G2 has found the initial pick on the round with the operator. The Neon kills Asuna and immediately goes to reposition. Now, 100 Thieves is currently in a main control position with the operator sort of working mid doors, and then the Cypher is passively controlling elbow. So it's actually a fairly similar position to what we found Cloud9 in.
Yeah. No. Upping top mid.
Top mid.
Yeah.
I'll look you want to like just.
Carol,
I'm gonna drone. I'm gonna peek.
Okay, make the noise. Make noise. Tim has a good timing.
Okay, so I love this transition from them. There's no panic. They did get picked. Asuna quickly confirms to Bang, who's a little bit confused about where this operator shot came from, that they only really need to worry about top middle because Bang is focused on his crosshair. So he saw his teammate die in middle and he thinks that maybe it was a double doors peek. Asuna says no, it was top middle. so the op can't be where you are at the A side of the map. And then we hear 100 Thieves sort of suggesting things that they want to do now. So Vora says that he's going to drone, and Bang says he's going to peek with it. And then we hear right here at the end, Asuna says, okay, you guys need to make noise now because Timotino has a really good timing middle. And the reason for that is because Asuna was spotted middle and died, and they did not see this neon scale up here. So there was a dead player here, which should sort of alleviate the pressure for G2 on the middle of the map. And now they're making noise over here, so this should be a pretty good distraction for this neon to potentially find a timing.
No one bricks, no one tree. Nice. I don't see the op.
Sova was here. No, op shouldn't be here. I think you guys have a free site.
I don't see anything. I'm with you, Sean. I'm with you.
Okay, so I love this as well. They're all sort of like making proactive plays, but doing stuff together. Vora's giving information about what he does and doesn't see. Bang gets a kill, and then Asuna sort of just makes a read. Guys, I think you might actually have a free site here because we killed somebody playing pretty far back, and we haven't had any resistance up close to this drone. And so he says, I think you guys have a free site. And then we also see Cryocells getting a kill on the B side of the map.
I think you guys have a free site.
I don't see anything. I'm with you, Sean. I'm with you.
You can't flash over there.
Oh, wait. I'm gonna side pro. Can you guys wait 2 seconds?
Okay, I love that as well. So they're considering kind of like working their way into A off of Asuna's call. Cryocells gets a kill on B. And then there is a KO Flash and Sova Dart that Bang calls out, which says, okay, it's not just the Sova alone here. We need to be careful that there's actually 2 players here, and there's only one on the B side of the map. So now the plan potentially needs to change a little bit. And then we also, at the very end, hear Cryocell say, okay, everybody wait, I just got a kill. I'm going to use my ult to give you perfect information. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't actually have his ult, so it's a bit of a bad comm, but the idea behind it is correct. And then he's going to quickly correct himself that he doesn't have ult, and they will continue on with their plan making.
You don't have one off. I think the opera's posted on me.
There's 2. We should go B. I'm gonna wall, make a think we're going to.
Okay, so they kind of mess up the timing a little bit there. Timotino gets timinged in double doors, whiffs the shot, gets killed, and now we're in a 3-on-3 situation. So 100 Thieves now has to kind of dig themselves back out of this potentially lost round. They're trying to come back to Cryocells because they know that there's 2 players here, 1 player on B, but they have the spike towards A, and they need to make their way all the way across the map. So Bang decides that he's going to wall to try and make it seem like they're actually just headed out A and see if they can hold the players from G2 on the A side of the map.
I'm gonna be.
This opera's gonna be on B site.
We have Cove.
I can do Cove emo. I can do Cove emo.
Yeah,
Peek this ding.
Right, dong.
One more minute.
Okay, this is beautiful. So as they're rotating, they're making plans. I think it was Asuna said you can Cove emo, and he pings right here. Emo is this spot between the box for default plant and the slant wall. And then Bang sort of verifies, okay, I'm going to Cove there. And then in the middle of their plan making, they do a ding dong, which is how they do their ping pong or their sort of 1, 2, 3 swing for middle, because they realize they're about to go out into the middle of the open, and so they need to time the swing together. So they do ding dong, they get the trade, and now it's a 2v2 situation with still quite a bit of work to do.
You should go back A if you can.
Yeah. Throw a Cove B.
Yeah, do the emo.
Do a lurk covers.
Yeah.
Are you gonna flank the double door?
I'll flank A.
This is great. So they say, okay, just go ahead and do the Cove here, and you're going to see how effective this is because it's going to pull this neon super far over here because he's not sure whether players could have walked out here or walked out here during this timing. So the call is great, and then they decide that they're going to end A because they know the operator is towards the B side of the map.
Okay.
Sova.
He's aiming.
Aiming.
That was the mid guy.
Open the van. Double door.
And listen to this. Everybody is contributing, and it's kind of a weird situation where they're all kind of microing each other, but there's like instant trust in the call of being correct. Asuna is calling for the harbor smoke to go B. Bang just does it. Timotino is now calling, okay, guys, this Sova was the middle player, and you guys should just go double door together, and they just immediately start doing the action.
30 seconds left.
Opera's probably B.
He could have crossed already.
Yeah, it could be default.
B site, yeah. You with me?
Yeah,
Going
go.
left.
3, 2, 1.
Can you go left?
Yeah. You want to flip?
Yeah, flip. We have Cove.
I love that as well there. They do group up here, and then you hear just a... Crowdcells is not a very loud player. He doesn't say that much, but he just gives a little, "Are you with me?" just to make sure that he knows that the spacing is good. And again, the reason that he's asking that is because he's sort of like holding this angle. He's just super focused on his crosshair. He probably has no concept of what his mini-map is showing. And so he just is asking, you know, "Are you ready to go out? We got to do this together." And the affirmative allows them to then scale out, and they decide, okay, how are we going to do this? Are we going to plant on this side and flip, or are we going to go try and push all the way around and clear out the pyramid?
Left pyramid. Kill this guy.
One of you go right. One of you go right.
I'm going left. I'm going left. Go right. Go right.
Split.
Nice plan. We have Cove as well.
10 seconds left.
Mid door. Double door.
Last player standing.
And before we watch this 1v1 again, just everybody kind of microing each other a little bit, but not in like an annoying backseating way. Just, okay, everybody just at the same time, kill this guy. They know that there's one person coming from B. They know they have one person here. They know that they just have to kill this guy on A if they want to win this round. So immediately they rush this guy down. They decide to go split so they can cover both sides of the pyramid. They get the trade, they get the spike down, and then they go completely silent as Bang handles the clutch. Okay, so I want to stay with 100 Thieves and go look at a very chaotic portion of the round, which is post-plant. Post-plants tend to be one of the biggest leaks for most teams, where they get the spike down and then everybody kind of turns their brains off. And if you're not making plans really proactively in post-plants, you can have a lot of problems. So let's see how 100 Thieves handles their post-plants. Okay, so we pick up this round in a 4v3 situation where 100 Thieves is trying to pivot towards the B side of the map. They just got double killed by a Bucky at A. We're able to trade out one player and are now trying to get to the B side of the map and plant before the rotations come in.
B's good, boys.
Or B.
Can't be man.
Kill this guy.
Yo, wait, maybe. No.
It's gonna be one more. It's gonna be one more.
Could be
Close door.
Close door. Close door.
Spawn already.
We're smoking 4.
I get smoking.
I'm droning. Relax.
Okay, I really love all of this. They're trying to suss out where people are in this round, and Asuna catches himself making a read that's maybe not very good. He says, okay, maybe there could be another person B, and then he kind of catches himself and says, nope, there's no way that they could be there. Then as they scale out, they find the player, kill one. They think there's probably one more here, considering that there were 3 players towards the A side of the map. And then everybody's sort of making action comms. Okay, I'm going to smoke here. And then at the very end, you hear Vora say, okay, everybody chill. I'm going to drone, right? And this is a wonderful call because they're in a 3-on-3 situation right now. And the most important thing that they can do is to not give up that numbers advantage. So they need information. And he has a drone available. So everybody tucks, he drones, and then they start to move.
Smoking in 2.
Nice. Cypher ult, Matt.
I don't see this guy.
Asuna calls, make sure that you cypher ult.
Just hide, everyone. Alright, post on the Matt.
Yo, you can take spawn. I'm playing for you.
Yeah, well.
So I love this. As they scale in and sort of shift into the next phase of the round, which is the post plant, they're already making plans about what to do next. So Asuna is saying, okay, I want you to post the operator on market. So we see Crowdcells holding the market line with the operator. And then you hear Vora also say, okay, take spawn. I'm in a plant for you. So that's what he's doing here. Is he's planting here so that Bang can play his position to potentially go late and kill a diffuser if the site does get overrun.
They have a cam above you, Matt. He knows about you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
You guys can act like you're bunkering side. Get dark.
Wait.
Again, really, really excellent information. Asuna knows that Crowdcells isn't aware of this camera necessarily, and so he says they have a cam on you. They know where you are. Make sure that you move your position. And then Bang says, okay, I want you guys to pretend to be bunkered in sight as if we're all 3 holding in sight, playing off this dart, so that it sort of disguises his position to go late from spawn.
I'll tell you when. Yes. Do it now.
I post on your spawn cross.
I'm jiggling lane.
Yeah, jiggle lane, Jordan. You guys are good.
I'm off you, Matt. Kind of. Gonna play off you. Let's mark it.
keep going.
Lane, I'll lane.
One enemy
Phoenix
remaining.
lane.
Chill.
Okay, again, really good sort of calm giving of information. They're closing the market door. I'm posted here. I'm watching this angle. They could be here. Again, just like kind of a constant flow of information, but not overly high energy, because it's really important that they just kind of like stay calm. They're in control of the round. They have the win condition. There's no need to be anxious or do anything stupid.
We have lane.
I'm only. Keep
We
going.
have stairs now.
Man upstairs.
Can't play for the drop.
Nice!
Too quick, man.
Oh,
No
you
one doesn't like me.
No one doesn't like you, Gabe!
And then just obviously the appreciation for your teammates of making a good play and making good calls. It's just like the way that they communicate is really quite beautiful to listen to, because they're all just on the same page and they very clearly trust each other. So now let's go see how Cloud9 handles a post plant on their end of things. Okay, now one caveat before we actually get into this is a new map. So there probably will be an extra layer of a bit of confusion of sort of, you know, call out locations and what you should do and how you should react on this map, because nobody has really put in enough time to fully mastered Summit yet.
Wait, 5 seconds, and I'm gonna call for you guys, and you guys will start going.
Yeah, King Dog, and I'll just
2
pick it up.
seconds. Wait.
I'll break.
Coving now.
Go.
Okay, great plan making from Zelsis and the rest of the team. They're going to try and, again, pump fake to A and then end B. So calling out the information, I'm going to cove here, and then you guys peek, sort of push them back off this line, and then we can pivot off of that.
One double song this Jordan. You go wide. 3, 2.
Gotcha, we need help.
I'm multi-back. Go B, speed B. You're good for us. You're good.
No wall, I'm walking out.
We don't need to speed up. We can
No, come guys, come. I'm multi.
Okay, and right there is a great example of what you don't want to be happening in these high-stress matches, which is a call is made, okay, they're fighting us A, we should speed up towards B. And then we have another player, in this case it's Vic, saying, no, we don't need to speed up. We don't need to speed up. He doesn't want them to potentially run into a trap, and he thinks that maybe they're in a pretty good position to continue working the map. So it's not like it's necessarily a terrible call, but the fact that a call has already been made, people are already reacting, and then a couple seconds later, he's sort of canceling that call, is just adding a huge layer of confusion to what is already a potentially very chaotic and confusing situation.
We don't need to speed up. We can
No, come guys, come. I'm multi.
One dead.
Oh, half that body. Yeah, I hit him truly.
I'm blowing.
I'm wanting it, guys. Go through.
Just one guy.
I'm waiting for you guys.
Just go through. I have it.
Yeah.
I'm playing for man.
Out there.
Control the post line.
We can keep drop. Yes.
Okay, so they are able to get a bunch of information from the Cypher ultimate. They know exactly where everybody is. They're able to scale into the B site, and you can hear them sort of like trying to make plans of how they want to play the post plant. But the plans are a little bit weird to me. You hear that Vic asks if Jordan, which is Zelsis, will control the post plant. And okay, yes, he's dead. He kind of should be in control of some aspects of the post plant, but it's very interesting to me that they like are assigning somebody, I want you to control the post plant, especially when you have 4 players alive that should have some agency in like what's happening. But I'm going to assume that this is maybe a bit of like a team protocol that they have, because they are such a new team, where they just kind of want Zelsis to be like the, you know, the puppet master of these chaotic situations. You also hear somebody saying, hey, I'm going to plant for main. And then another person says, hey, we can control drop. So there's sort of like 3 different plans happening. They don't have anybody playing in main. So planting for main and playing to spam from main doesn't make that much sense. And playing drop does make sense, especially if you know where 4 players are from the Cypher hat, but somebody has to actually go get there. And right now their positioning is going to make that pretty difficult.
You guys can sit spawn, just keep link. Plant out,
Plant
Jack.
Plant out. Can you hold this, Francis?
I'm all behind me.
I'm gonna try to peek off you, Fire. No, they're all there, Francis.
Okay, again, the confusion is very evident here. So the spike is being planted kind of, I guess, for the main spam. You hear Zelsis saying, let's control Link. You can play for spawn, but we need to control Link. So we've got 2 players kind of controlling Link. We got 1 person playing for spawn. The spike is being planted for nobody. And then we also hear like a bit of confusion between Vic and Oxy about Oxy thinks that there could still be somebody behind them, even though that they just saw everybody on Cypher hat. And then Vic is trying to sort of get Oxy on the same page as the team. No, there can't be anybody behind there. Come play off of me. So again, it's not as clean as 100 Thieves, and I can understand why some of these situations fall apart for Cloud9 just based off of that.
Going up, one rope.
You guys are good. You guys are good.
I'm coming off you, Cam.
Yeah, we're all off cam.
Okay, so the call is that we're all off cam, and now that is kind of a confusing communication because there is a camera here, and it's like, okay, are we off the cam contact? But also Fireball Ops' name is Cam, and so they're saying they're off Cam, who is holding contact for Spawn. Now, I don't know if that's actually a problem for them, but it was confusing for me until I realized that, oh, his name is Cam. It's Cameron. So this does make sense as a call.
Just drop.
Yeah, well, kind of.
They could draw.
I got hit. I'm chilling.
Maybe heavy spawn.
Yeah, every spawn got the thing.
One more.
Two more spawn.
I drop it dead.
We can play spam. We can play spam, guys.
Okay, so Cloud9 is able to work themselves into a 2v2 situation. We hear the comm come out, okay, you guys can play for spam. And what I think that communication means is that they're supposed to walk behind their own harbor wall and spam the spike from here. But this is not a super good plant for this, and they would also not be able to spam from any of these locations because this box is going to be blocking a lot of their bullets. And if they wanted to come around this way to shoot, it would also be in enemy territory. So I don't know if I love that communication, and I don't think that Oxy does either.
Just close off.
I'll walk right after. Walk right.
Last player standing.
So Oxy says, I don't trust the spam, walk right. And they walk through their own harbor wall blind into an Odin that's holding them.
Ending.
Nice try.
Guys, breathe. Like, they're not even out.
Decent try.
And right at the end there, we get a little bit of a lecture from Zelsis talking about how the team needs to breathe. You have to calm down and make plans of the post plan. He's saying that they're not even out on site yet, and we're already taking fights, is what I assume he was about to say, since multiple players kind of like swung into the spam line from the Odin without really any serious contact being made. So again, the contrast between 100 Thieves and Cloud9 is really quite immense once you actually listen to their communication in sort of similar situations. On one side, you have a team that seems to just inherently trust everything that is being said from their teammates. And on the other side of things, you have a team that is sort of second guessing each other and calling multiple things at once and over calling each other in some situations about what the plan should be. And this isn't just a video to kind of like rag on C9, because you have to understand that 100 Thieves has played a lot of games together as the Five now. They've even been to an international tournament and won a tournament. So their team coherence and their trust in each other should be much higher than Cloud9. But the contrast between the two makes it super clear what a good team sounds like and what a team that is struggling sounds like. So hopefully that was insightful to you, and let me know what sort of comms you'd like to hear next.